Hi guys, welcome back to yet another video. If you're new around here, my name is Marcelina. I'm a 15, almost 16-year-old mystery romance author. I have published one mystery romance book called The Blood That Divides Us. I know a lot of my audience has already read it, but if you have not, you should totally go check it out. It is a standalone. It's available on Kindle Unlimited if you're a KU reader. All the links to purchase will be in the description down below. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all of that good stuff. And I am currently working on my second DOS mystery romance book. It is called Labeled Innocent, Presumed Dead. Now, this one is slightly different in the way that while Blood That Divides Us was a little bit more a girl's guide to murder coded, so there was just like one murder mystery, literally like just someone got. Our main girl Alyssa had to work with her academic rival and her best friend and her other friend. They're both really suspicious to find out who did it, and that kind of unravels and leads to like other discoveries. But this one has a little bit more of like the inheritance games, the Naturals, Pretty Little Liar vibes to it, in the sense that there's not one conventional or traditional like murder to solve. It is a FBI secret society organization that is dedicated to finding missing people, specifically missing women and children. These are cases that are kind of low priority from the FBI, that they consider that, and they pass it on to this group called the Bureau. Our main girl Natalia, she is a pink-haired hacker, really super smart, super advanced and mature for her age. And she gets recruited to this group, solves a bunch of little cases with them that kind of have an overarching tie back to her family and dark secrets, and also connect to the open cold case of her sister, Allison, who went missing 5 years ago. Anyway, that was just a summary of the book. Hi, welcome here if you're new. If that sounds interesting, you might want to stick around, maybe subscribe. Labeled Innocent, Presumed Dead comes out on February 14th. Valentine's Day. So mark your calendars and stay tuned. Now, deep breath. All that to say, that brings us to what I'm doing in today's video. We are back with another editing vlog. I have done one other in this series. For a little bit more context, you don't have to, but if you want to get more background on my process, I started off this developmental editing draft 2 journey last week with this vlog. I will also link it in the description down below. Go catch yourself up and then come back here, because I'm not really going to get into my process here, but I rambled on for like 10 minutes about that in the last video. So yes, I'm on draft 2 of this book, which is commonly known as the developmental edit stage. Also, in my humble opinion, the most complicated, difficult, complex, intense, stressful, overwhelming, need I continue stage of the book, and of editing and of publishing and the whole process. Again, in my opinion, I know a lot of people like they hate rough draft writing. I actually really love it. That is probably my favorite part. On the opposite side of the spectrum, I know a lot of people hate line editing, but that's like tied with rough draft writing. I love line editing and making my work pretty. But alas, we are not there yet. We are stuck in this draft 2 slump, and similar to the sophomore slump, because if you did not know, I recently started my sophomore year of high school 3 weeks ago, and the sophomore slump is already hitting me. It's unreal. I heard about it from my friend who was a sophomore last year, and I was like, how? Like, there's only a year difference. I was so motivated last year, graduated with all A's and 1B. Like, I was like, what? I get it. It's been 3 weeks. Someone take me out. I am so done with school already, and I feel that way with this book. I don't know if the draft 2 slump is a thing, but I'm feeling it. And I hate it because, like, for context, got the idea for this book back in February. So that'll make it technically a full year from, like, idea of conception to the release, which is insane. I started outlining in March. I vlogged this whole process from, like, brain dump until now. So you can check my channel to correct me. But I believe it was, like, end of February I started doing the brain dump. And then I outlined characters between March and May. I want to say I started writing end of May, and here we are. So it's been a long time coming, and it's a really sucky feeling to be like, I'm burning out kind of, because I do love this book, and I read through it, and I did my read through last week, And I adore this book. I realized how much gold and potential is in this little story that I've crafted. I constantly found myself smiling and being like, I love this. Like, I ate this up. Like, this is my writing. I thought I was reading Holly Jackson for a second. Like, I mean, I need to humble myself. It's not that good. Maybe it is. I don't know. All that to say, I'm just an impatient person, and I am sending it off to beta readers in exactly 2 weeks. So, the countdown has begun. Bringing us to what we're doing in this video. Last week's vlog and what I was doing last week was preparing me for this moment. I did my read through, which I essentially just read through the entire document. It was not in one sitting. It was like in 3 weeks. But I left a bunch, emphasis on a bunch of comments along the way. Funny things, satirical things, very serious things, a whole range. Basically just telling myself, hey Marcelina, this is wrong, you should change this, there's a plot hole here, this doesn't make sense, cross-reference this, rewrite this is cringy, come up with something better, etc., etc. So I didn't actually change anything then because I wanted to keep moving forward, and I would have slowed myself down if I did that, but I just made little comments. So a little update, there's at least 300 comments, I think, or maybe there's more. My goldfish memory is struggling right now. I will put the exact number of comments from this manuscript on the screen so you can really see how many there are. So I have this many comments to work through, which is overwhelming to say the least, especially as someone who procrastinates a lot when things seem intimidating or daunting or like too big or too hard. So I'm a little bit in over my head. I'm not even gonna lie right now, but you know what? It's fine. So we're just going to be working through all of these comments. I'm going to be editing. This is an editing vlog. I don't know what I'm going to title it, but like I usually do that when I'm done recording all these clips, and I'll like reflect on it. So if it says a productive editing vlog, then that means it's going well. Future Marcelina, how did this go? Because I'm really overwhelmed with, and I don't even know where to begin. I have all types of comments, ranging from I have to rewrite whole chapters, I have to add in a bunch of new paragraphs, and then I have small things like cross-reference this date to what I have in my notebook, which requires no brain work because I already have it in my notebook. I'm too lazy to grab my notebook because it's like tucked away. So I'm just making a note to like double check, because this draft is for plot stuff, it is for timeline stuff, so everything under that umbrella will count. Welcome to this vlog. We're just going to be implementing all of my comments and slowly but surely editing them into the book and seeing what happens to hopefully make it a much better and much stronger draft than it was before, which actually when I was reading through it, it's not that bad. I know I made a bunch of claims to y'all, and I know I said it like in my newsletter. By the way, you should totally go subscribe to my newsletter too. Look on my website and a pop-up should appear, and just put your email in for free. You get sneak peeks and bonuses before anyone else. But I was complaining about how bad it is, how it's the messiest first draft I ever wrote, blah blah blah. I think I was just in my feelings because it actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. So we're working with something that's still very messy, but there's a lot of plot holes, and that's what I might tackle first, but I also might procrastinate on. So we shall see. We shall see together. Come along for this journey. Let's go. Guys, randomest thing, as you know, well, as you may know, if you're new around here, maybe you don't know, but one of the MMCs in this book, Jaden, he is half Russian, and he is very much fluent in the language, which is great. You should totally check out his outlining vlog if you want to know like my thought process when I created that. And there's also some lore to that. Like I promise it's not just because I want to have a Russian MMC that gives her a Russian nickname. What? Who said that? But there is actually some like plot, family tree related stuff that ties into that. But anyway, that means he says Russian stuff. And obviously, I don't know Russian. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a lot of things. I'm Italian. I'm not Russian. I am not taking the cheap route, and I'm not using Google Translate, because even though I may or may not use Google Translate sometimes for my Spanish assignments, because Spanish 3 honors is really hard, I would never use it for a book. Like, I swear that's honestly, in my opinion, almost just as bad as using AI. Not in the concept of like it's Google Translate, but like the parodies and how we all just universally can agree how inaccurate Google Translate is. Like, no. But I am using this like premium paid website called DeepL. and I love it so much. I actually used it for some of the Italian in the book that divides us with like Matteo's lines. I've found that it's more accurate than Google Translate, so I've been doing that. But it's definitely something I have in my comments that I need to like go over and double check to make sure, like, translate this again and make sure it's actually saying what I wanted to say. And then I'm gonna ask, and hopefully one of my beta readers maybe can help me out. I don't know if they're Russian or if any of them speak Russian, but we'll see how that goes. I had posted a screenshot of a Russian line that Jaden says, and I was like, $100 to anyone who could translate this. I was being funny. It was a little joke. And I didn't expect people to actually be serious, but this one girl who said that Russian is the second most spoken language in our country actually got it correct. Except I realized that it wasn't exactly correct. It was slightly off. I had thought it said, I told you to hide better, but apparently it means I asked you to hide better, which makes me a little nervous because I'm like, okay, there's like a slight discrepancy. There's a slight gap that needs to be bridged. But honestly, that works. If you know the context, which it's a big deal. It's like a really big foreshadowing thing. I gave no context to that. Like, who was talking to who? But that's a really big deal. But I was like, wait, that actually kind of works. So now I'm gonna like go through my comments and rethink how I want to go about this whole translating thing, because it seems that the website I'm using maybe isn't as accurate as I thought, but honestly it's not that bad, if not even better, like exactly what I want. So that's gonna be something to consider and keep in mind. I will update you guys later. A little fit check because I want to. We have this from Target, I say Target, shorts from Old Navy. We have these pearl earrings from, I don't really know where. We have a customized, this might be flipped, so I don't know, but we have a customized bracelet from Etsy that was a gift. The lighting is so bad. That has my name on it with my birthstone. And then if you are a Shatter Me fan, you're going to like want to break into my house and steal this from me. My mom got it from Etsy. I'm pretty sure you can still get it. I don't know, she got it like 2 years ago as a birthday or Christmas gift for me. It's an Ignite necklace, you know, Ignite. I grade nothing, I take everything, Ignite my love, Ignite, like, tell me this is not everything. And then we have my crusty, musty, dusty, chipped nails. Anyway, back to the update. I did edit a couple things, but they were like minor things. I would just, one of my comments was like, name change, and I would always put all these E's because it was funny, and I said it like 20 times and I got tired of just being repetitive and copy and pasting name change, name change, name change. So I like was trying to make it entertaining for me. But there was like this certain serial killer that was roaming around, and it's not like the Tristan type of case. If you read the book that divides us, it's not that kind of thing. They don't play as much of a prominent role. Like this dead people and then his ex-wife are not even in any scenes, like physically, like they have no dialogue, they're not like in a scene. But like the reference and like he does something, but like it's his house, or well, it's a mansion. It's a mansion in Minnesota where this book takes place. I don't know if I mentioned that. The ex-wife lives in Los Angeles. It's a whole thing. But I had put these generic names because my intention, I don't mean to say it like this, please don't cancel me, but my intention was that they were going to be like this like Beverly Hills white wealthy snobby couple, socialites essentially, very, very Gossip Girl coded, okay? And then I came up with the plot twist of a century that they were going to be family members of a certain person, and that certain person is a certain ethnicity. I chose the whitest names, bro. I chose Adam for the guy and Julie for the woman. And I was like, oh, well, this is not gonna fly. People are gonna be like considering I'm like 25% of this ethnicity. I'm not gonna say what, because if I say what, it's immediately gonna give away. You're immediately gonna know which character these people are the parents of. But they're the parents of some character, and I was like, well, that's gonna be obvious. Which it's gonna be kind of obvious if you read it, because the names obviously are symbolic of that. But like, I had to like research and try to find names that not only fit the traditional category. I didn't want to go too like new. I was trying to keep it old school, little classic. Then I had put the last name in one of the scenes, and I was like, shoot, I can't do this because the names doesn't even match up. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to rewrite a whole new section, or I'm gonna have to add a whole new paragraph because it doesn't make sense. The last name isn't cohesive with the last name of this child that is a somewhat prominent character in the story, question mark. I'll leave that up to your judgment, but if I give said character's last name, like, it's a very distinguishable last name. People are gonna know instantly, and that's supposed to be like a minor twist. It's really not that big of a deal. Like, it's not that big of the plot at all. It doesn't make up anything, but it's still a little fun contribution to an overarching secret in the small town. But like, I had to change that, and then I had to research, so I ended up like not including a last name, so like I had to go through and delete all of the references and mentions of that. So that's what I've been doing on my Tuesday. I keep saying it's Monday, I don't know why. Tuesday night, evening, I need to go eat dinner. We have some like pasta, so I'll get back to this later. Guys, I am freaking out here. I'm gonna step in my walk-in closet, which is literally like my hub for all of my vlog updates. And this is not gonna be an editing related vlog. I feel like at this point I'm just rambling about like everything else under the sun but editing. But I did want to say, I don't know if you watched my last vlog, and if you did, you might remember me saying something along the lines of like, oh, this weekend, like Sunday or Monday, something exciting is gonna happen. I can't really say what yet, but I'll talk about it more in this video. And then now it's this video, so now I get to talk about it. Okay, I'm just gonna say this. I did send this draft of Labeled Innocent, Presumed Dead to one of my 5 beta readers. So, I love how I say one of my 5 beta readers. I have a spreadsheet that has a list of 5 beta readers that I hope to work with for this project. Out of those 5, one of them is my IRL friend. She beta read my last book, and I love her to pieces, and we talked about it a couple months ago when she was asking me if I was working on a new book, and I was like, I'm currently writing it. And she actually asked me first. I was going to ask her. She asked first, so she's an automatic one. Another one, she is an online writer friend. She also beta read my last book. And then there are 2 other people who I've kind of sort of just like counted on my team, and I put them on my spreadsheet, but I haven't really asked them. I'm such a bad person, I know. Okay, technically that's not true. One of them brought it up when I was in the drafting stages. She's followed my channel for a really long time, and she messaged me and she was like, hey, like, if you're ever looking for a beta reader, like, I'd be more than happy to do it. And I was like, okay, like, I'll totally take you up on that offer. Thank you so much. And keep in mind, I was like on chapter 2 of the first draft. This was like 2 or 3 months ago, so I wasn't even thinking about that, but we haven't really talked about it since, so I think I'm gonna message her in a couple of days and see if she's interested. And then another one, I haven't really asked her, so I need to do that. One of the girls, like, not one of the 4, another girl who has a channel on here, she's a part of the teen writer community. She edits mainly her book, and she's amazing. We were talking, and she mentioned something about like, oh, I gotta go, I'm gonna go beta read one of my friend's books. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, if you could beta read mine at that stage, that would be lovely. And I was honestly half joking. Again, this was back when I was writing the first draft, so beta readers and draft 3, which is the beta draft, wasn't even on my mind. But she got really excited about it, then I got really excited about it, and then we both started taking it seriously. So anyway, she really wanted to do it. The only problem is she lives in the UK, and due to like the school system there and like specifically where she lives, this is a really, really big year academically for her, and she really needs to lock in. So once school starts, she doesn't really have time to be doing this, and her school starts on September 2nd. And when I told her that I was going to be sending the drafts out to beta readers around the beginning of September, she's like, oh, that may not work. And then I was like, oh, uh-oh. But luckily we worked out a compromise that I would send it to her sometime around the 22nd, 23rd, 24th of August. So today is currently Tuesday, August 26th. I sent it to her last night. I was supposed to send it to her Sunday morning, and I deeply apologized to her about that because I didn't. I've been so busy lately. I sent it to her yesterday, August 25th at approximately like 9:30 p.m. I was about to go to bed, but I was like scrambling. And anyway, that's a whole different story. I really don't want to share names or like accounts or anything. Not because I don't think I can, or like not because I don't think that those people wouldn't be okay with it. It's just because like all my beta readers, except for my IRL best friend, they're all people who watch my channel and they comment kind of a lot. So you you would know, even if you don't know them personally. Like, you've probably seen them in my comment sections. Like, I don't want it to feel like there's bias involved. Like, I know a lot of people, I know most of you in my community, you guys are so sweet and I love you so much, and you would jump at the opportunity to be a beta reader, and I don't want it to be like, oh, well, I comment just as much as she does. She got to be a beta reader. Why can't I? Like, I don't want there to be any drama about this. So I'm really not going to say it. I mean, if any of these people, like, want to post about it, that's fine. I really don't care. That's up to them. But, like, I personally am not going to say names because I don't want anyone to get their feelings hurt or anything like that. Like, I promise, on a little tangent, I'm getting on a soapbox here, but, like, there really is no bias involved. It's just there are some people who I'm a little bit closer to than others, who I've had a little bit more, like, writing related conversations with, or that, like, I've read some of their work and I've kind of beta read, so, like, in exchange, like, I really admire their writing style, or we have similar writing styles, or they write a similar genre and I feel like they would be most helpful. Or for, like, a couple people, like the 2 people that have beta read my last book that are automatics, like, that's kind of a thing. Like, if you beta read one of my books in the past, especially my published one, it's kind of an automatic for future because, like, I trust your opinion now. But it's like, there's no hard feelings. I'm a little bit picky about it, but it's nothing against anyone else, I swear. Anyway, I had to send it to her really early, and because of that, she's the first one to get the draft, and because of that, I'm not sending it to anyone else for another almost 2 weeks. And because of that, it's very messy and very, 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 very unedited, because you're probably like, wait, Marcelina, you've barely implemented any changes. I know. That's kind of the point. I low-key made a rookie mistake. It wasn't even a mistake. I knew this was going to happen. I was just trying so hard for it to not. I sent it to her without implementing any of the comments. So I obviously sent her a new copy, so, like, it doesn't have any of the comments. She can't see any of them, but, like, I haven't, and I disclaimed this to her, don't worry, but, like, I was like, girl, this is so unedited. I have not had time to make any changes, so if there is, like, an obvious plot hole or a super duper cringy piece of dialogue, there's a 99% probability that I'm aware of it already. I just have not changed it yet. So that's a little frustrating on my part, because I was really, really hoping to get some of my comments checked off and put some of the revisions into effect prior to sending it to her, but it just lifed and it didn't work out that way, and that's fine. I said this on my student council application, believe it or not, but I think if being a writer has taught me anything, well, it's taught me a lot of things, but one of the main things it taught me, specifically an author, like publishing, is flexibility and adapting and pivoting quickly and being able to do that, even if it's, like, not what you want, but just, like, being able to make the best of a situation with what life throws at you. Like, that's kind of the name of the game sometimes. So it's fine. I'm just really, really nervous because she hasn't started reading it, even though I sent it to her almost 24 hours ago. It's not either of our faults. Google Docs was just being really freaking annoying, and it wasn't letting her comment. I'll talk about this more in my beta reader vlogs coming in a couple weeks, but I like all of them. I have a questionnaire for them to fill out at the end of general questions, just, like, about how did I execute the pacing, who was your favorite and least favorite character, how did you feel about character B's backstory, did you guess any of the plot twists, if you did, how can I make them better, like, stuff like that. But there's a lot of spoilery stuff in there that I obviously can't say. But then I also strongly encourage them to, like, kind of annotate the document as they go, like, make comments, you know, using the comment feature in Google Docs of anything, just, like, reactions as they read, or, like, little comments, little suggestions, and that allows them to, like, get really specific in the nitty-gritty on, like, very certain wording or dialogue or just, like, lines in general. So anyway, I love seeing that, but that wasn't working for her. And then the first time was a me error, I'll admit. I gave her viewing rights instead of commenter rights, but then that wasn't working, so I changed the commenter to editor, and then that still wasn't working. And then I changed, like, the overall thing, and then it was like really complicated, and then even when she was, like, had editing and commenting rights, it wouldn't let her, and then it was a whole mess. But it now let her, but she's, like, 8 hours ahead of me, so even though it's, like, 4 p.m. for me right now, it's, like, midnight or past midnight for her, so she cannot do anything until tomorrow. But she started reading the prologue in the first chapter. She really likes it, and I had one other person read the first chapter as a little surprise. If you know, you know. If she's watching, she knows what I mean. So 2 people have technically read the first chapter, and they both loved it, so I'm like, woo. Oh my gosh, I have more anxiety with ARC readers because, like, ARC readers don't know me. Well, actually, that's not true. Some ARC readers know me. Most of my ARC readers don't know me. With the Bullet Advisors, I sent out well over 150 ARCs, they don't really know me. I just literally start cold marketing and like messaging people. That's actually how I found a couple of my friends on here. I was like messaging them. I was like, hi, do you want to be an art for my book? And I gave them a blurb. And that's the whole point. So like, they're not afraid to be ruthless. But I think also because this is beta readers, like it's supposed to be honest, but also constructive criticism, but also like respectful feedback. And then also that all of my contenders are my friends in some capacity. Some I'm closer to than others. But like, I know that they're not gonna be mean or anything, but I'm just like so nervous because I hate so much of this book, but I love this book, but I hate this book so much, but I love it, but I hate it, but I don't know. So anyway, this is like a really, really long, non-editing related update, but it also kind of is editing related because it's out of my wheelhouse for sure to send someone the draft that I have not edited, because as you saw, like that many comments that I have, I don't have time to make those revisions before I had to send it out to her. I'll have the time to make the revisions obviously before the beginning of September, of course. That's when I'm sending it out to the other 4. And that was kind of my like main priority. Like, I'll just send this out to her because I made an exception. She needs to get it first for time issues. But like, I need to get this done in 2 weeks, or technically less. Pause. Today's Monday. I'm sending it to them, not this Friday, but next Friday. So yeah, like a week, if you want to be specific, like a week and 5 days, but that's still plenty of time. Things are a little bit chaotic because I'm going to look at them, so that's going to affect how I edit with the already existing comments. Also, if like I wrote something as like, write this, and then she actually like pointed out specifically that she really likes it, I might actually delete that comment, or vice versa. If there's something that I ruled out was okay, but then like she makes a specific note on it, I'm probably going to go back and address it, and I'll just loop it all in for draft 2. Or better yet, because I can cross-reference with the 2 documents. I have my draft 2 document, and then I have the specific beta reader document that I sent her, because I send all my beta readers like their own copies, so it doesn't get confusing. But I can cross-reference, and if she makes a note on a piece of dialogue that like is really cringy, and then I look at my comments and I see that I'd already made a note to change that, then I don't really need to worry, because then that just means that my intuition was right, and then I should change it, because it's like, if I think it's bad and then someone else is backing me up, like, okay, this is definitely a valid critique on my part. Because like, I feel like with self-evaluating and self-editing, which is so much of what draft 2 is, before you get to the beta readers, well, traditionally, like, it's a judgment call. I have had so many times where like I thought that something was okay when I was doing my round of self-edits. I brushed by it, I was like, oh, I like this. And then I get to beta readers, and then they'll nicely and kindly and respectfully, but they'll be like, this line is problematic, this makes no sense, this is cringy, you should rewrite this. And I was like, oh, I thought it was okay. But writer blindness, we have the rose-colored glasses. This is why we have beta readers in the first place, so we should listen to them. But I just do think it's going to complicate things, like, because her feedback is going to mix with mine. Not even intentionally, I just know it will, unless I don't look at it all together until I send the book out to other beta readers, which I'm not doing because that's going to be in 2 weeks, and I'm too impatient because she's loving it so far, and I'm going to want to look through all her comments and look through the Google form questionnaire responses as soon as she completes it. So it's going to be a little bit of both, which is fine, but we're reinventing something new. I don't know. I'll update you guys later. Bye. Okay guys, I really have to go in like 2 seconds. I'm super busy the rest of the night, so I can't update long. But today is currently Wednesday, August 27th, and I'm working through a change right now. So this is one of the things, just to give you a little bit of context, a little example as to like how my brain was operating while making these comments. You would think that while I was making these comments, my mindset was like, okay, Marcelina, let's focus on the really, really ultra important, super significant things, plot holes, gaps in the timeline, etc., that like have to be changed. You know, with the original name of the small town that this book is set in, called Meili, spelled M-E-I-L-I. Okay, it was actually named after like an old friend from middle school. It was a whole thing. I thought it was really cute. I thought it fit well because it was like, this book takes place in Minnesota. I was like, Meili, Minnesota, it flows. And then a few weeks ago, I make a post and I reference labeled innocent, presumed dead as LIPD. I think I'm talking about like a blog that I just posted. And you'll see me do that a lot if you follow my channel with like my videos, or sometimes in post or in the captions of an edit, like I'll just say LIPD. Just know that's like the acronym, like, you know, ACOTAR, like A Court of Thorns and Roses, you know, LIPD. Labeled innocent, presumed dead. Okay, just because that's a really long title, and a lot of the times when things have like character limits, that doesn't fit, so I just have to put the acronym. But then someone commented and was like, oh my gosh, I just realized that the acronym for this, LIPD, sounds like a police department. You know, with the PD, like we have like NYPD. This sounds like it has such a strong tie with law enforcement. I feel like that's perfect for the theme of the book. And I just started like squealing and giggling like a fangirl, because that wasn't even my intention. But I realized that that person was completely right. They're totally onto something. So thank you so much to that girl. You know who you are, because you just gave me an idea. So then I quickly rushed to make a note to myself, and now I'm going to implement it. I'll let you know, like, I'm still thinking because I'm kind of stuck. But I've decided officially to change the city name to something that's 2 words that starts with L and I, and don't say Long Island, because this book does not take place in Long Island. It takes place in Minnesota. I need like a fictional name. So if you have any, feel free to drop them in the comments, because most likely I'm very, very stuck right now. And by the time I post this video, I'll probably still be stuck. I'm still pondering. But I need a 2-word city name, fictional city name, that the first word starts with L and the second word starts with I, because I reference the police department a lot, and I'll say like Melee Police Department quite a bit. So then if I say insert city name, police department, and then I abbreviate it, or I have like Natalia or one of the characters, or like I write it on like a police report that is within the manuscript, kind of like how there were like files in A Girl's Guide to Murder. I do that with this book, by the way. But then it'll actually spell out LIPD, which is the acronym for this book. How cool is that? I don't know, I just thought that was so fun. And even though it's really complicated and I have no idea what the city name is going to be, we're definitely changing it. Sorry, Melee, you're going away. We're going to do this because it's really freaking cool. So yeah, that's how my brain works. I get all these like little things and I get hyper fixated on them, and I have to do them to be trendy and cool. So that's my plan. That's what I've been doing today. Productive, right? Guys, ignore me sitting on my bathroom floor right now. But alert, I think I just fixed the previous problem that I was talking about in the last clip about like, I don't know what to name this city. Hold on, I was in the middle of history class and I got this idea, because it's not like US history or anything, it's actually AP Worlds. But I was like, she has like history posters and Hamilton, and I started thinking of Hamilton because I was listening to the Hamilton soundtrack yesterday. Non-stop, such a vibe. So is Wait For It. Non-stop and Wait For It and Satisfied and Burn are my favorites. Anyway, I was like, Lin-Manuel, Lin or Diva. And then I came up with that, and that pooped in my head. And then I didn't like fully cement the idea until my last period English class. And then I actually wrote it down because it was like just in my head spelling wise. So I just quickly typed it out how I think it's going to be spelled on the notes app of my phone. And I actually really like it. So tentatively, the new title of this city is Lin or Diva. Tentatively. I don't know about it. I'm 50-50. We're just gonna insert it in there and see what happens. And then when I read through the draft 50,000 more times in the next couple of months, if I hate it and I find myself like cringing or just like skimming over it whenever I read it, then I can always change it. But like, I need something right now. Also, I'm desperate to get it checked off the list, so that's what we're going with right now. Guys, unfortunately, maybe not, maybe, I don't know. That is gonna be the end of this week's vlog. I know y'all are probably like groaning and rolling your eyes right now. Like, this was so unproductive, it was so boring. I know. I have probably, I wanna say only tackled like 6, maybe 7, but definitely less than 10 of my comments. Just because I started this video kind of late. I started this video on like Monday, which I usually never do. Things have been like really hectic, and I just honestly have not had time. And then if I am like doing it here or there, I'm not vlogging it. So I've only talked about a couple things, and also there were a lot of other things coming on this week that I wanted to include as well. So I would rather just put out this video that maybe isn't the most productive or editing related than not post a video at all this week, because I know it's kind of a disappointment to me and definite disappointment to you guys if I make a post and I'm like, sorry, no video this week, and I just skip it. Like, I'm sure you'd much rather be fed with some type of content one way or another than have nothing at all. So I'm gonna put this out. Just, you know, apologies that it wasn't the most on topic or interesting. I promise, please stay tuned for next week's. That's where it is at, because like I said, I don't know the exact number, but I've definitely edited less than 10 of my comments. So you saw that number. I still have, what, 260 comments left? So next week's vlog, I'm gonna try to talk less, ramble less, have a way shorter intro, and I'm gonna attempt to get right into it. So if you really want to see the nitty-gritty of me implementing those revisions, and like the whole vlog, instead of me talking about all this other random stuff, is going to be completely 100% draft 2 developmental edit centered, definitely check out next week's video. If you're not subscribed already, you probably should. Hit that bell button so you'll always be notified when I post a new video. I hope everyone's writing projects are going well. Mine is at the state that it's currently at. It's going. I mean, the changes I've made, granted, because I've been picking and choosing, are very subtle. I haven't gotten to the point that I've had to rewrite things or add paragraphs or anything like that, because trust me, that is a very update-worthy update, and I would 100% be pulling out my phone and recording that. So no, I have not gotten to that yet. That'll be something that I primarily focus on, because those are the big things. Those are the things that I need to really pick up my pace on, because it's almost September. And actually today, oh my gosh, that's another thing. Today is currently Thursday, August 28th, and I wrote in my notes that I'm supposed to reach out to the rest of my beta readers, which is what I was talking about earlier. I have 2 people who I still have to contact and ask if they're even interested. I need to do that today. Shoot, I completely forgot about that. So we're gonna do that when I'm done recording and editing this clip. Like, if I'm sending it to them in a week from tomorrow, that just clicked in my mind. I know I said like a week and a half. No, a week from tomorrow. What the heck? Oh my gosh, that's coming a lot sooner than I thought. So I need to take it into high gear and accelerate on these revisions. So next week we are dedicated. And overall, like, how am I feeling about this draft? Like I said, I can't really speak on, oh, it's so easy, oh, it's so hard. I haven't even gotten to any of the considerable hard edits. So I'm not going to open my mouth yet, because it's probably going to be completely different next week. So you can get my thoughts and analysis then. Thank you so much for watching. All my links will be in the description down below. Feel free to chat with me in the comments. I always love reading them and answering them. I'm actually so behind on comments, but I'm working on it. And I will see you all in the next video very, very soon. Bye!